The Clippers-Warriors first round series is almost a week old now, and we're on to the second round of the playoffs, but it's still a good time to talk about two of the players that helped the Clippers get to nearly 50 wins. The likely favorite for Sixth Man of the Year, Lou Williams, and the possible runner-up for Sixth Man of the Year, Montrezl Harrell, are making a combined $14 million this year, and in the NBA world, that is a bargain for the production they are giving out. So if you're in the same boat as me and the Clippers and want to see one of the 8 remaining playoff teams play in person, the best way to do that is through the SeatGeek app, who I want to thank for sponsoring this video. I have used SeatGeek in the past, and instead of having to search everywhere on the web for the best ticket prices, SeatGeek does all the work for you by putting every single ticket from that event into one spot for you to pick from. They then give those tickets a grade out of 100, so if you see it's green, then you know it's a good deal. If it's red, then you know it's a bad deal. If you're still not sure about the seat you picked, they have a feature that lets you see what you're getting before you buy. As always, when you support SeatGeek, you're also supporting me, so if you're thinking about going to a concert or a sporting event in the future, you can get $20 off your first ticket purchase by using my promo code CAINE when you check out. Before being a Clipper, Montrezl Harrell was originally picked by the Houston Rockets in the second round of the 2015 draft, but did not get much playing time. He was behind Clint Capella and Nene in the depth chart. When Montrez was traded to LA in 2017, he was one of the lesser players talked about in the deal. He was a second round pick on a rookie contract, and most people were talking about the CP3 and James Harden fit. Or they were talking about how Patrick Beverley and Lou Williams were going to help usher this kind of strange Clippers era. In that 2017-2018 season, he was being discussed more once people quickly realized that he could be your first big man off the bench. He averaged 11 points and 4 rebounds in 76 games. He shot 73% at the rim that year. It was an interesting situation for the Clippers going into the 2018 summer because Montrez was playing really well for the team, but that meant other teams might try to steal him in free agency, but he ended up re-signing in LA for $12 million over 2 years. Montrez has grown into a legit player. In 2015, he came into the league as a power forward, but with the way the game is played now, he was eventually moved to center. At 6'8", 240 pounds, that's not exactly a small person, but for someone who plays the majority of their minutes at the center spot in the NBA, he usually doesn't have a height or weight advantage versus his matchup. Montrez makes up for his lack of height with his leaping ability, non-stop motor, and his wingspan, which is 7 foot 4 inches long. When he sets a screen, he rolls to the rim at like 100 miles per hour and plays so hard it looks like he's going to get hurt sometimes. He scores most of his points on offensive rebounds, post-ups, and rolling to the rim on pick and rolls. He has pretty good touch around the rim when he can't leap over someone for a dunk. He shot 73% at the rim in this regular season according to Basketball Reference stats. That's a very efficient number. To put that 73% in perspective, Clint Capella shot 74% at the rim, so Montrez is up there with some of the best finishing centers in the league. When Lou Williams was traded to the Clippers, it was now his third team in 4 years. Before one of the Clippers games last week, he said to ESPN that he was thinking about retirement last year. He played 14 seasons in the league and was getting passed around the NBA as a trade chip, so he thought it was the end of the road. But once he was around Doc Rivers, the coaching staff, and the players, Lou was cool with the move back to LA. These 2 seasons with the Clippers are arguably 2 of his best years of his career. Lou is probably going to win his 3rd Sixth Man of the Year award in a few months, and he passed Del Curry for the record of most points off the bench in NBA history. Lou was scoring on everybody as the Clippers kept making their surprising playoff push. He scored 30 or more multiple times this year, and is the go-to guy when games get close, whether that's in dribble handoffs, pick and rolls, or just straight isolations at the weakest defender. To refresh your memory, back in early December, the Clippers were the first seed in the Western Conference. It was early in the season and no one expected them to keep that spot, but some of their success felt sustainable. This was a good team. A top seed in the West? Probably not. A low-seeded playoff team? Probably. But on February 6th, the Clippers made a trade with the Sixers, giving away their leading scorer and borderline all-star in Tobias Harris, and getting back Landry Shamet, Wilson Chandler, and 2 first-round picks. I'll admit, when I saw this trade happen, I thought the Clippers were going to miss the playoffs and get their own pick back. If they make the playoffs, their pick goes to the Celtics, so I thought, oh okay, they're trying to get as many assets as possible. But that didn't happen. The Clippers actually got better on defense and went 18-9 after the trade. They had the league's 8th best offense over those 27 games, and part of that had to do with Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell dominating other bench units. The most played two-man lineup for the Clippers in the 2018-2019 regular season was the Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell combo. They played 1,611 minutes together as a duo. They were very successful offensively, and when you check the most used 5-man lineups for the Clippers, that include Lou and Montrezl, they were very efficient offensively. I think one of the questions people ask about Lou and Montrezl is, why are 2 of the 3 best players on the Clippers coming off the bench? Lou has averaged 20 points per game in his last 2 seasons, and is not really someone you consider a bench player because he finishes games. You can say the same thing about Montrezl. He averaged 17 and 7 this year, and is pretty much instant offense when he's rolling to the rim. For one, it's kind of hard to start Lou Will because he's not exactly a good defender. You don't want him defending 6'6" or 6'7" shooting guards at the start of games. Lou has embraced being an instant offense guy, so it's a good thing to bring him off the bench to balance your lineups in a 48-minute game and let him get going against backups. In Montrezl Harrell's case, he can outrun and out-hustle pretty much every backup big man. In certain situations, it's not a good idea to start him because of his height, so it's best just to have him and Lou Will come in off the bench and go against worse players so you can run pick and rolls at them for 6-7 minute stretches. The duo was historic in the regular season. They are the highest scoring bench duo of any team in NBA history. Their pick and roll combo was tough this year. Montrezl rolls to the rim at 70 miles per hour, and Lou Williams weaves around the screen for a layup, mid-range pull-up, or he dumps it off to Montrezl for a dunk. And they ran that successfully enough to get 2 wins against the championship favorites in the first round. Their pick and roll combo was tough this year. Montrezl rolls to the rim at 70 miles per hour, and Lou Williams weaves around the screen for a layup, mid-range pull-up, or he dumps it off to Montrezl for a dunk. And they ran that successfully enough to get 2 wins against the championship favorites in the first round. Going into Game 5, it was right after the Rockets finished off the Jazz in 5 games, so we were just waiting for the Warriors to win in 5, but the Clippers had 1 more in them. It was actually crazy how difficult some of the shots Lou Williams was making in Game 2 and Game 5. In Game 2, when Klay was defending him for the majority of the game, he was playing really good defense. The one thing Klay quote-unquote struggles with on defense is shorter, shiftier guards. Part of why Klay is so good on defense is his strength. He can cut off angles, and when he meets you at the spot, it's hard to muscle past him. But Lou is slippery with his handle and doesn't use strength to get by his defender. Eventually, the Clippers ran out of talent. Kevin Durant reminded everybody who he was, and Andre Iguodala, as well as Draymond Green, made it their mission to pretty much lock down anything they wanted to do. This 2018-2019 Clippers team was definitely the most surprising event or story of the season, and getting 2 wins against the Warriors in the playoffs just made their story that much cooler. It's not just a media thing. The Clippers made a pretty strong impression to free agents this year because of their team's success. Montrezl and Lou are definitely nice support pieces on a possible conference finals team if they get 1 more big player. Or they could be used as trade chips once again for somebody else. The Clippers have a lot of assets. It should be interesting to see how this LA Clippers team moves forward. Lou is a walking bucket, but he is going into his 15th season. Montrezl is very good in this bench role, but as the NBA game moves farther away from the paint, a lot of these energy players lose minutes to more versatile defenders and shooting big men. Montrezl is neither of those things, so he's gonna have to continue to be a dominant finisher and pick and roll player. And that's it for me, man. I hope this one was interesting to listen to. Appreciate it if you made it to the end. Do you think the Clippers grab any Tier 1 free agents this summer? My next video might be on the Utah Jazz, so be on the lookout for that.